start by talking about the steps to recruitment. To better understand this, we will define recruitment. Recruitment can be defined as a process used for the purpose of attracting personnel to an organization for which a series of steps are followed. First, you have to ask, do we need staff? In this first step, the company, whether industrial, commercial, or service, asks itself if it really needs personnel based on the projects, the resources it has, and the demand, the availability of the person and the company. In case the company needs staff, the second step is done. Emit a personal requisition. It is an internal application document that is responsible for some of the functional areas. It is a trigger to start a recruitment and selection process based on a generated vacancy. The third step is to ask yourself, what kind of recruitment will it be? The company must see the type of vacancy it has. There are three types of recruitment. We will define these three types of recruitment. Internal. It is carried out within the same company and with the same personnel. Within this one is with SN, which is to raise a collaborator to a higher hierarchy. Mobility, which is to move from one department to another. And mobility with a SN, that is to raise the collaborator to a greater hierarchy, but in a different department. Then the extern is followed by an internal call to the company to attract new candidates. Finally, it is mixed, which is when the company performs both recruitments. In this step, you can use supporting documents such as a professional record and the curriculum vitae. The fourth step is to resort to means of recruitment, for example, stick posters or advertisements outside the company. Make trips to recruit staff, conduct interviews, advertise in newspapers, magazines, and television, among others. Once we define all of the above, we enter to the second stage, selection of personnel. In this stage, the applicants are applied the selection techniques, which can be tests of knowledge or ability. They are a test. They can be general tests that are of general culture and specific tests that are of technical knowledge, such as psychometric tests. Personality tests are tests that serve to analyze the different personality traits. It is divided into projective test and body expression test, simulation techniques, and interviews. Now we will talk a little more thoroughly about all these techniques. Number 1, interview. There are 4 types and they are divided into fully standardized only, directed, and directed. It has no structure, has no order, and is the most criticized because the information is so rambled. Test of knowledge or skill has 3 divisions, and these turn into subdivisions. The first is forms of applications. There are oral test, written test, the realization test within reach, general test, specific test, the organization, traditional previews, objective test. These can be a simple alternative, multiple selection, fill spaces, ordering or matching, scale of agreement, or discord. Personality test. Used to analyze the different features of the person, you can give the character and temper All these in turn are divided into projective test and body expression test. Makeover. It is a graphic test where the individual expresses his essence by drawing a man or a woman. The Koch tree. Graphic test where a tree is drawn. Its purpose is to communicate the physical life or psychic life of the individual. The Rorschach test of 10 sheets of ink where our personality shines. 16 factors. It is an evaluation of 185 questions. Generally, it is applied to boys of 16 years. The test of corporal expression, PMK, Mycokinetic Psychodiagnostic test, is a mental test of graphic expression to obtain the attitudinal form of the individual. We begin by seeing the worker-employer relationship and HHOS, which is the following. In the company works the staff which is found by HH or OS. Since HH or OS is a company dedicated to getting educated personnel for the position, we are all good for something. Then we will hire one who is closest to what we're looking for. In this, how are we going to discover it? By effective communication, verbal, written, corporal, etc. What types of leaderships are there? There are many types of leaders, but for the selectional stage, we will use two: empathic and autopic. We have to discover what kind of leader we want to be or want to convert. According to the sentence, we become a leader, enemies of man. Fear. Fear is always present in our daily lives, indirectly or indirectly. We all know the consequences. 2. Clarity prevents us from seeing things around us. 3. Power sometimes prevents you from doing things. 4. The old. As happens in time, people are aging and we lose the desire to do things. So, this is all. Thank you.